we're going to do is I've got a video here that I have been wanting to kind of chat about because I was kind of just scrolling through YouTube one day and I saw this, and this is from a little while ago. I think it was like 6 months ago, maybe 7, where Sketch, the streamer, was on Impulsive, Logan Paul's podcast. And while he was there, he kind of opened up about some anxiety and stuff that he has kind of been wrestling with. And he says something that I think is interesting that I want to talk about for just a moment. So let's watch this.
I'm pretty anxious. That's why I smoke a lot and drink a lot, probably.
Okay, so yeah, I'm going to tell you something right now. It's going to be a bit of a shock to your system. It's not the way to handle it.
Yeah, definitely.
And I wonder what would change if you were to really get those under control.
Probably a lot of stuff. I don't mind. I don't really mind crying on camera, but like not in a podcast way. I don't know. I feel like I just had anxiety all day, and now I feel better. But sometimes I have to catch my breath. I want to keep all this in because I'd rather people know
I'm with you, bro.
In that clip, what we can see is Sketch opens up about what he's going through as far as anxiety. And he talks about how he feels like that's why he smokes and drinks a lot, is because of the anxiety that he's wrestling with. And I was thinking about this idea a lot because I've been guilty. Maybe that's not the place I run when I get anxious. But at the end of the day, it's all the same, right? We often run to sin in times of great anxiety to relieve the anxious feelings and the worry and the stress and the depression, whatever it may be for you. And I was just thinking how interesting it is. You know, if you don't know much about him, he has just been very open about how he, trusts Christ. He's saved. He's a Christian. He follows Jesus as his Lord and Savior. And I think this is interesting because what he's going through, what he's being willing enough to, he's being vulnerable, right, in this situation. And I think it's something we all go through where we trust God and we say, God, you are powerful enough. I believe that you are God. I believe that you sent your son, Jesus, to die on the cross for my sins. But for whatever reason, when it comes to our mental health, when it comes to anxiety, when it comes to depression, it's like, you're not big enough for that. It's like you're big enough to save me from eternal separation from you, to pay a price I could never pay. You're powerful enough to come back from the dead, right, after 3 days. But when it comes to what I'm dealing with, as far as my anxiety or depression or worry or loneliness or whatever it is, you're not big enough for that. And so often we run to other avenues to get relief. And again, I don't think this is just something that Sketch goes through. I think it's something we all go through, right? Maybe it leads us down the path of smoking and drinking and taking, maybe harder drugs or whatever it may be. But it can also just be, I go to Netflix or I go to video games or I go to whatever it may be. And none of those things, I'm not saying those things are inherently bad. What I'm saying is that the same God that is powerful enough to save us from death, save us from eternal separation, is also powerful enough to save us from the anxiety and the depression and the worry and the stress. And so I think for me, when I saw this video, it was just a reminder that when I'm going through some of the most challenging times of my life, when I'm going through seasons where I feel exactly as Sketch does in this clip, to remember that if God is who I believe him to be, if he is powerful enough to raise from the dead, then he is certainly powerful enough to take away my anxiety, to take away the stress. And so instead of running to the sin, my heart is hopefully, the goal is to run to Jesus, because the sin only leads deeper and further than we ever thought we would go. But Jesus, right? What did he come to do? To give life and give it abundantly. And so I just, again, just a reminder, just something that I've been thinking about quite a bit recently, and just had an impact on me. So like I said, I hope that speaks to you, impacts you, does something in your heart. But again, I think it's easy to do. You know what I mean? I think it's really, really easy to fall into that trap where we get, we go down this rabbit hole of sin, and it can become very difficult to ever get out of that. Just not trusting that Jesus can truly save us from the anxiety and the worry. And I think a big reason for that, personally, just for me, is because when I'm distant from him, it doesn't feel like a real relationship. I still believe that he is God. I still believe that he's died for me. Yet I don't feel close to him. And, you know, it's like a friend that you've had your whole life. They're great, but they moved away a year ago. And now you're going through it. And it's like, man, dude, it's just not the same when I talk to him because we haven't been that close recently. And I think a lot of us can find ourselves there. And so, like I said, I just hope that is something maybe to think about, maybe as we go through this week and we go through this month. You know, we're getting closer to the holidays, and that is a time where a lot of people go through a lot of stress, a lot of worry, a lot of anxiousness, whether it's about money or family, health, whatever it may be. And I think it's important to remember that through all of that, not that it's going to be easy, not that it's not painful or hurtful, but God is big enough